Hello guys, it is me again, it's RFan34, and welcome back to another video. And I have been tagged once again. Was tagged by a really good friend of mine on here and a really good subscriber of mine, Sean Erschen. He's tagged me before and a lot of other tags way before last year. I mean, we did a lot of tags, and we're trying to get back into the swing of things myself, trying to get back into doing these tags again because they're a lot of fun to do. So, I've created some tags myself, trying to get back into the swing of things of doing these tag videos, and now I have been tagged to do this one by Sean Erschen, and this is the ultimate Dracula tag, where basically it's 12 questions that deal with Dracula, and you got to give your answer to all these 12 questions. So basically, anybody who wants to participate in this tag, I'm going to leave this open because pretty much Sean tagged everybody I would have tagged, Rob, the sci-fi horror guy, and things like that. So anybody who wants to do this tag, feel free to. So let's get on to my answers, and I hope you enjoy this, Sean, if you're watching this. So, number one, what is your favorite Dracula movie of all time? My favorite Dracula movie of all time. Now, Dracula is in the movie, because I know Sean said, you can do, movies that Dracula appeared in, or the star of, things like that. So, if I had to choose my favorite Dracula movie, honestly, I would have to pick The Monster Squad. Because The Monster Squad is a film that doesn't get talked about a whole lot. I love The Monster Squad a lot. I love the whole Universal monsters like Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman, things like that. It's just a really, kind of like a horror version of the Goonies, in a way. A horror, adventure movie. I love The Monster Squad. Done by Fred Decker, I believe. But I love The Monster Squad. I'd probably say that's my favorite Dracula movie. I will say that. So, number two, who was the best actor to portray the character of Van Helsing? I gotta go with Sean on this one, and Peter Cushing has to be my favorite actor to portray Van Helsing. He just captured it so perfectly, in my opinion. Number three, who was the best actor to portray Dracula? It was kind of a toss-up for me between, Christopher Lee and, things like that, but if I had to choose one, I mean, there's the top Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee was a toss-up for me, but I gotta go with Christopher Lee. He's my favorite Dracula. I just think Christopher Lee is just a great, iconic character actor, and I miss Christopher Lee. Number four, what is your favorite weapon against Dracula? Gotta go with the crucifix. Gotta go with the crucifix. That's my favorite weapon against Dracula. Number five, what is the worst Dracula film of all time? Now, this was a no-brainer for me for worst Dracula film. Jeez, this movie, I gotta go with Dracula 2000. I gotta go with Dracula 2000. I think that movie sucks. I know there are some fans of the movie. I think Bronco Juggalo is a fan of the movie, and hey, more power to him. I mean, he can like the film all he wants. More power to him. He can like the film. That's his opinion. But I gotta wholeheartly disagree. I just think Dracula 2000 just has nothing going for it. I thought it was slow. I thought it was tedious. I thought it was boring. I mean, granted, I like the cast. I like Gerard Butler. I think he does fine as Dracula. I don't think Gerard Butler's the problem. I like Johnny Lee Miller. I like Christopher Plummer. I like seeing people like Danny Masterson from that 70s show. You have Omar Epps, Sean Patrick Thomas, Jerry Ryan, Nathan Fillion. I mean, I like the cast, but I think the director, Patrick Lussier, went on to do a better movie with Drive Angry with Nick Cage. But Dracula 2000 just was... I remember, so funny enough, when I first saw Dracula 2000, I remember I got it from... I found the DVD of it for $1 at New York Comic Con, I think back in 2011? Might have been something I think it was 2011. One of the vendor tables, they had a Dracula 2000. I picked it up and I oh wow, this is a pretty big cast. I saw Johnny Lee Miller, Gerard Butler, Christopher Plummer, Jennifer Esposito, Omar Epps, and Nathan Fillion. I'm like, oh, and the director of Drive Angry. Like, I never heard of this, so it was only $1, so. And I like the actors. I mean, I can watch it for the actors, but I remember what's funny is I watched it with my buddy when I slept over at his house one night. This is many years ago, and I remember I looked over at my buddy. He fell asleep 2 times watching the movie, so at least I'm not the only one that thought the movie was boring. I thought it was boring, but I don't know how I didn't fall asleep. I'll tell you that. So, Dracula 2000 is my worst Dracula film. Next one, what is your favorite scene, number 6? What is your favorite scene in a Dracula film? I gotta agree with Sean on this one, when Christopher Lee's Dracula comes out of the waterworks, starts hissing about when the woman's trying to seduce the Jonathan Harker character, and you see like the blood dripping down from him. I mean, Christopher Lee, that's why he's my favorite Dracula. Just that scene alone just makes me love Christopher Lee as Dracula. Number 7, what is the best line from Dracula in film history? Once again, gotta go with Sean. I mean, a lot of these ones I agree with Sean on with. You know, the children of the night. You know, I love that line from Dracula. Number 8, what is the best parody or comedy featuring Dracula? Gotta go with the one with Leslie Nielsen, the one that Mel Brooks did. You know, just because, you know, Leslie Nielsen was always one of those guys that was just a great actor at doing parody films. Just something, you know, The Naked Gun and Airplane and, you know, things like that. I mean, I just love Leslie Nielsen in parody movies. He was, like, so good at them. Even the ones that weren't really the best ones, I thought he was still the highlight of the movie. But gotta go with the one with Leslie Nielsen that Mel Brooks did. Number 9, which film had the worst representation of Dracula on screen? Now, many people would think that I probably would have went back to Dracula 2000, but to be honest though, I don't think Dracula was the problem with that. I just think like there was nothing to the movie itself, and I think Gerard Butler did a fine job as Dracula. I mean, they didn't mess him up or anything like that. I love the way Dracula dies at the end when he gets burned up in the sun. Really cool looking shot. But the worst one for me, I gotta go with the one that was in Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman, just because the CGI was just absolutely atrocious, and you know, probably the worst on-screen persona of Dracula has to be the Van Helsing movie. I'd take Gerard Butler's Dracula over that Dracula any day. But as a worst Dracula film, period, it would be Dracula 2000. Number 10, which film had the best death of Dracula? Gotta go with the one when he falls off the cliff and he gets impaled on the cross. You know, just a great, great scene. Number 11, what is the most underrated Dracula film? I gotta go back with The Monster Squad. I think that's probably the most underrated Dracula film. Because when I think about The Monster Squad, it doesn't get talked about a whole lot by many people. It kind of gets forgotten about. And what's sad is, you know, Fred Decker did, you know, this film, Night of the Creeps, and both of those films didn't do that well. And then he did RoboCop 3, and that didn't do well either, and that pretty much killed his career, pretty much, Fred Decker, like, directing-wise. But The Monster Squad is easily the most underrated Dracula film for me. I love the whole horror adventure aspect. It's like a horror adventure version of the Goonies in a way. I love seeing all the Universal monsters in there. I love The Monster Squad. And the last one is number 12. Thoughts on Francis Ford Coppola's version of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Is it a solid, faithful adaptation or overblown Hollywood nonsense? I really do think it is a solid adaptation of Dracula. Just because, you know, Gary Oldman, the way he portrayed Dracula was so good. And, you know, Francis Ford Coppola, I mean, is a fantastic director in general, with The Godfather and things like that. Bram Stoker's Dracula is, I think, one of his best films. I think it's one of Gary Oldman's best roles. I love the other cast members as well. But Gary Oldman, though, steals the show as Dracula. And I do think it is a faithful adaptation of a Dracula movie. So, there you have it on that one. So, there you have it. So, those are my answers to this tag video. So, Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Alright guys, take care.